Boom to the hay, all you sports fans out there in the Tubosphere. Welcome to the One Man Sports Rant. I am your host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. We're talking about updates with baseball, and then a cool thing coming up that ESPN Sport Science did about the greatest athlete ever. So you see, got the 1962 when they were founded, Houston Astro Baseball here. You see Kim Pock, the mighty Kim Pock, oracle to the sports gods, who predicted the Final Four and the national championship game based on percentages. So he's now 22-4. You shut me up because I was like saying, well, your 4 losses are college basketball-wise in Gen 3.0. Okay. Also, our Pi Kappa Alpha House Sweethearts for the OMSR. All right. Just briefly, I'm not going to be talking too long. You know, we all understand here, and there is a we involved. I know one man, we, it sounds like a misnomer, but we're all former college basketball or football players, and a few Marine Corps recon. So if you wouldn't say a flip comment to our face, and I'm pretty sure that's the case, don't do it from the safety of your computer. It's not going to make it anyway. It's not the point. What I'm trying to tell you is we have to do a show because y'all need to know out there how the good ship sports clip lollipop on YouTube has sailed. Especially with regard to professional sports. It's become very difficult. I remember in Gen 1.0, Gen 1 could do 15 minutes worth of the first half and then the second half in the NBA playoffs. That ain't going to happen this year. There has to be an amalgamation, minimal use, within the fair use standard and derivatives. All at the DCMA, which we adhere to around here. Alright, so now you know. So save the comments for the actual sport event we're able to bring you. For a pro bono sports show, you're getting way more than a minute and a half. I promise. Alright, so on that note, this show is copyright to the OMSR with brief video highlights courtesy to ESPN, MLB, and or NBA networks. The OMSR doesn't own these video highlights, but does own all the other original content, the overall concept herein, thereof, therefore, most rights reserved. They retain the last right for the videos. But I've been doing this from day one in Generation 1. And so it's like that. But it's become even more so. So y'all understand. But it's not that I want to have to do a show. I'd rather just bring you a lot of sports clips and rack up a million hits each time. It ain't going to happen. Alright. So I'm going to use this as the baseline show for how to do Major League Baseball when they play 160, 80 some odd games. We're going to do it twice a week on Thursdays, today, and Tuesdays. I'm going to defer to baseball tonight. They probably brought the best highlights of the game. And then after that, we're going to use this as the baseline show for the greatest athlete ever. We're talking soccer, guys. Basketball. Football. Baseball. Yes, I know it's not. It's softball sized. And when they say it's hailing softball size, hide the women and children, but hide the car first, right? And little Roger Federer, tennis. All right. So thanks for watching. No silly DUIs while you're out there celebrating sports. Stay tuned. Bring you more. I'm mostly talking to subscribers here, but there is a reason for new viewers and would-be viewers in the future, do try to keep it original and all that without thinking I'm all that, because I really don't. Again, we're forced to do this because of the DCMA. And roll game clips.
The first round of the brackets is complete, and now only 8 athletes remain. Our first quarterfinal matchup is a battle between 2 of the greatest champions their respective sports have ever seen. Michael Jordan versus Michael Phelps. One component factored into our metric is strength. Since water is about 800 times denser than air, Phelps' muscles in the pool are subjected to 15 times more resistance than on land. And Phelps dominates in the butterfly, which is up to 60% more physically demanding than other strokes. Now on the court, Jordan battled against players averaging about 6'7", 220. And despite weighing less than the average player, Jordan's strengths allowed him to be a physical presence on the floor. In his prime, Jordan reportedly could shoulder press 225 pounds over his head 6 times. In our metric, in the category of strength, Jordan narrowly edges out Phelps.
That's 2 plates in the barbell for everyone out there.
We also analyzed their endurance. During long periods of exercise, lactic acid breakdown releases acidic hydrogen ions, which causes early muscle fatigue. Phelps' blood lactate levels after a race have been measured to be up to 2.5 times lower than most elite swimmers. This helped him recover quickly enough to win 2 golds in about an hour. And in our endurance metric, Phelps ranks higher than Jordan. But MJ excels in quickness. He can accelerate to 13 miles per hour in about a second while dribbling. And on defense, he can react in as little as 0.15 of a second, less than half the time of a single revolution of his jump shot. Factor in every component of our metric, the winner of this titanic showdown with an aggregate total roughly 18% higher is Michael Jordan. Our next bracket matchup, Muhammad Ali versus Bo Jackson. First, strength. At the plate, Bo was famous for showing frustration by snapping his bat over his knee or even his head. But his natural strength was evident in the weight room, where he was said to be able to bench press 400 pounds without any weight training. To knock out a heavyweight boxer, Ali had to generate more than 1,000 pounds of force with a single punch. Throughout Ali's career, more than 60% of his fights were won by KO. But compared to some of his peers, this knockout percentage is actually average. And in our metric, in the category of strength, Bo outranks Ali. Next, endurance. In 61 career fights, Ali fought 550 rounds, about 2.5 times more than Mike Tyson's total. Ali had a VO2 max estimated at 60 milliliters per kilogram per minute, a measure of cardiovascular respiratory fitness that's nearly 60% higher than the average person. This enabled Ali to take 12 of his 25 title fights to the championship rounds, round 13 or higher, and come out on top in 10 out of the 12 fights. When it comes to endurance, Ali scores higher than Bo. But when we look at coordination, Bo tops the charts. He was an all-star in 2 sports, both of which require world-class coordination. Bo could run, throw, catch, break tackles, and hit for power. And on occasion, he even threw in a little parkour. So when it comes to coordination, Bo beats Ali. And after a meticulous analysis of both men, the winner is Bo Jackson. The next quarterfinal bracket happens to feature 2 legends from the past. Jackie Robinson versus Pele. First, power. Our analysis reveals Pele's 70 miles per hour shots generated a peak power of about 7,500 watts, the equivalent to 10 horsepower. And it's this peak power that helped Pele rack up 1,282 career goals, averaging a goal in nearly 95% of the games he played. To long jump nearly 25 feet, Jackie Robinson had to launch with more than 1,200 pounds of force. As a running back at UCLA, he could deliver blows to defenders with more than a ton of force. And with a swing of the bat, Robinson could generate nearly 7,000 watts of peak power, enough to send a ball sailing over 400 feet. In the category of power, Robinson outranks Pele. Another factor is endurance. Over the course of a game, elite soccer players can run as far as 8 miles, changing direction and speed on average every 6 seconds. This means Pele would have burned more than 700 calories an hour, more calories per pound than NBA players. So in endurance, Pele outranks Robinson. We also analyzed reaction time. A 90-mile-an-hour fastball travels to home plate in about 0.4 of a second. In order to make contact, a batter has to decide to swing when the ball is only 25 feet away. In 1949, Robinson's phenomenal reaction times allowed him to lead the National League with a .342 batting average, 80 points higher than the average that year. In our metric for the category of reaction time, Robinson edges out Pele. Power, endurance, and reaction time are just a few of the factors we analyzed. And according to our metric, the man who comes out on top is Jackie Robinson. Our last quarterfinal bracket, Wayne Gretzky versus Jim Brown. First, we'll consider versatility. Not only is Gretzky the NHL's greatest scorer of all time, with 894 goals, he's also the sport's greatest setup man. Gretzky's 1,963 career assists is more than any other player has points. But in college at Syracuse, Brown averaged more than 13 points per game on the basketball team, and in his senior lacrosse season, he led the country in scoring and was an All-American. Brown was Syracuse's running back and kicker, and once, in a single game, scored 43 points by himself. So when it comes to versatility, Brown beats Gretzky. Our metric also accounts for durability. Hockey players are on average about 50 pounds lighter than NFL players, but they can accelerate to much higher speeds on the ice. And because force equals mass times acceleration, compared to football players, hockey players can be subjected to roughly 17% more force at impact. Yet Gretzky missed only about 6% of his nearly 1,500 career games due to injury. In the category of durability, Gretzky outranks Brown. We also accounted for power. Brown's lacrosse shots were generated with roughly 4,000 watts of peak power. His high jumps created ground reaction forces up to 8 times his body weight, and accelerating out of the backfield, Brown could generate an estimated 1,000 pounds of force with each powerful stride. When it comes to power, Brown tops Gretzky. And after a thorough analysis of both men, the winner in one of our closest matchups, with an aggregate total less than 2% higher, is Jim Brown.